Hey, everybody, welcome to the Unspoken Truth podcast, where the mission is to hear the story, to have the margarita conversation instead of the Diet Coke one, and to share the amazingness and superpower of every woman that comes on the podcast. My name is Paige Brown, certified leadership and shadow work coach, nationally certified counselor with over 16 years of experience in shadow work and self-sabotage. And I wasn't actually planning on recording today. I had this idea. I was in the shower. I'm kind of putting myself together because I was like, I don't want to lose the idea and I want to get on this recording. So I want to talk about today about coaching programs, why we join them, like sort of what we're looking for, and why I am a very different breed when it comes to all of these things. And the reason why I want to highlight that is because I feel like there's something that all of a sudden is slowly peeling back in space. And I don't think I'm the first person to see it. I don't think that I'm this like revolutionary like hero, but I think that I'm one of the first people to actually bring a program to this to light. And so I want to have this conversation because it's really important to have. I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory. So when I started my business in 2019, I did it part-time. I was working as a counselor. I did, 12 years as a counselor. The last 2 years, I was double dipping as a coach in the evenings, and I was doing counseling during the day. And it was great. I love what I do. I love the people I was working with, but there was something missing. So that's why I really went into coaching. I grew my business to 6 figures without trying. I had no idea what I was doing. I hadn't even read a marketing book, to be honest, with my husband, to my husband's chagrin, really. And I just didn't understand that space. I never took an e-com class. I never took business classes. I just put my heart out there and sold. And it got me to 6 figures pretty quickly. Then when I finally quit, I went to my first marketing experience. And it was fun. It was a blast. It felt awesome because part of the working from home, being an entrepreneur, was the loneliness. Like I all of a sudden had no friends. I wasn't surrounded by anybody that I knew. I was just working by myself at home with my husband, and I didn't have like the connections that I had gotten used to. So when we went to this marketing conference, there was an opportunity to join the coaching program, and I did. My husband and I both did. And we joined it for a year. It was a $25,000 program, and we split it between the two of us. And it was one of those you can bring a business partner kind of things. And at the end of it, I had created a lot of connections and I had a lot of growth, I would say, business-wise, but mostly because I kept true to what I was doing. I just would do my things, like I would sell from the authentic place. People tell me I'm direct all the time, and I guess I leaned into that a lot. And I've also been told I'm direct, but not in a mean way, which is really kind of cool. And so I guess I'm not like rude direct. But that's also, my clients tell me that all the time. And because they don't want fluff, if you're hiring me, you want me to give you answers, right? So then the next year comes around and we had the opportunity to join the next level of the coaching program. And so we did. And this was a $50,000 program. We were part of this program for 2 years. And yes, we made more connections. We got coached in various ways. We learned a lot of things in terms of marketing, strategy, ops systems, business, copy, things like that. But what I realized was, slowly over time, it took me 2 years to see it, was that none of the things that I was learning had anything to do with me or how I felt or what I enjoyed. It felt completely foreign to me. I didn't like it, and it felt bad in my body, but I didn't know that because I was part of this program where everything was like, everybody was like about achievement. Everything was about the next dollar sign. Everything was about that level up, and everything in this program was about the prestige of being in the program. It was very evident of like, if you're in this program, you're this type of person. And I actually realized I wasn't that person. And as I've worked with other coaches throughout the years, like individually, and not just in coaching programs, I realized something that has been brought to light for me is that most coaching programs, I won't say all because not all are like this, and even some coaches that work one-to-one want to strip down the individual to fit their dynamic, which means that you are no longer the person that you were when you started the program. Now, sometimes that's a good thing because it means you're growing, you're having personal development or growth. But when you are put in a pocket of people, when you're put in it like, oh, well, you have to fit the cookie cutter mold that I created or it's not going to work, it's still not going to work because it's not who you are. It's still not going to work because you're trying to make yourself and shred all of these things down to like, you know, almost like putting yourself through like a cheese grater to fit through this policy or this thing that you've been told will work. Like we've seen it like hundreds and hundreds of times online. This thing will work. This thing is for you. This is the only way to do this. This is the thing that will get you to the 7 figures, right? We've seen it all over the place. And what I'm telling you is that cookie cutter programs don't work. They don't work. And the reason why they don't work is because you have to change yourself in order to fit into the cookie cutter situation. And most of the time, and again, I'm not going to say all, but most of the time you get into these cookie cutter programs and you never see the person that actually sold you the program to begin with. They're very hands off. It's all evergreen. Everything's pre-recorded and you don't feel great about it. Right? And I've paid, you know, $12,000 for a program like this. I've paid $10,000 for a program like this. And you never see the freaking person. You never actually get a human being on the other side. It's like all of a sudden when all the credit card companies got automated voices, it's freaking frustrating. There's my cat. Just so you know. He's behind me if you're watching this. It's going to be interesting. Anyway. So the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because I realized that I went through 3 years of stripping away everything that was me. I was told that my directness was a problem. I was told that my humor was a problem. I was told that, you know, that I manipulate people, which I don't. And I was told that, like, everything that I was really bringing to the table that was me was wrong. And this was because of copy being wrong, or marketing being wrong, or strategy being wrong, or ops being wrong. And every person I went to, and it's because I didn't fit their mold. This is what I'm realizing, right? Like, I didn't fit their mold. So when I went about creating my women's group, like my Shift Happens women's group, and the Shift Happens coaching container, that is going to be this is the first time I'm talking about it on here. So if you are interested in it, please message me. It's a women's business container. It's going to be for 10 businesses, up to two business partners. Well, the main person and a business partner. And it's going to be for a year. We're going to start on July 1 in the first container. And it's only going to be for 10, like I said, 10 businesses. And you're going to get 2 one-to-one calls with me. You're going to get a group call every month. You're going to get a luxury retreat built in. You're going to get a 3-hour onboarding session with me. You're going to get trainings and workshops and things that I do throughout the year. And I'm going to be present with you. We'll have a chat thread that will be ongoing, all of these things. Because I want to know what's going on in your business. I want to know what's going on with you because you are the most important thing in your business. It's you. My superpower is that I see the ramble, right? Like most of my clients go, oh, I didn't mean to ramble at you. I freaking love that. You know what? Strike that. I fucking love that. Because they get all the pieces. I actually described it to somebody the other day as like, you know, like the Queen Frostine card that you get for playing Candyland, because you get like, boom, here's Queen Frostine, and then you all of a sudden you go to the end, right? Like you like launch to the end. When I get a ramble from somebody, it's like, oh, these are all the nuggets that I need, and I can like go, here you go, right back at you. That's my superpowers. You give me all the pieces, and I get to craft the path with you. Because I'm seeing stuff that you're not seeing. It's something that I can do within 10 minutes of meeting you. It's my superpower. It's not a cookie cutter system. It's literally taking everything that you've told me and creating the path that you actually want, even though you can't see it yet. And I do this personally and professionally because it goes both ways. I get women that are like, I love my 7-figure business. It's amazing. But you know what? Maybe they're traveling 3 out of the 4 weeks of the month because they don't really want to be home because they're hiding from something. They're hiding from themselves. They're hiding from, their husband. They're hiding from something that's holding them back. Or their personal life's amazing. I just had 2 kids, but my business isn't going anywhere. They are very similar issues, very similar things that can be contained when the ramble happens. I'm one of the most direct coaches I've ever met. I don't fluff around, and I challenge you to be yourself. And the thing is my entire process is about coming home to you. Not how you fit in my system, coming home to you. Self-mastery is huge. It's decisions that we make on an everyday basis that we've almost been corrupted in this online space, in this entrepreneurial space, by listening to all of these things constantly in our head about, okay, well, if it doesn't have the hook, it's not going to work. If it doesn't have the story, it's not going to work. If it doesn't have the offer in the right spot, it's not going to work. If it doesn't have this formula or this plan or this thing or that thing. And I'm here to tell you that that's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. I built a multi-six-figure business with doing none of that. I didn't have a funnel. I didn't have a website. I literally posted on Facebook a couple of times a week and engaged people in conversation, and that was it. That was it. And I built multi-six figures off of that. And it wasn't until I actually forgot who I fucking was, because I started going down this rabbit hole. And I know that there are people like that are listening to this. I know you are out there. I know there are some of you that are struggling like this, like I did, where you go into these programs with the hope that they have the golden ticket, that they have the thing that's going to make everything click. Because I did it. When it's all about you. My Shift Forward framework is not my framework. It's all you. It's about your stories. It's about hearing yourself. It's about identifying your loops. It's about feeling your feelings. And it's about trusting the return to you. My entire framework is based off of you listening to you. Not listening to me. It's about your feelings and your growth and your opportunity. If you're constantly asking somebody else, well, how do I phrase this? How do I do this? How would this message be? And there are people making 7-figure businesses off of crafting messages for people and crafting emails for people and but it's not you. It might be working, but does it feel good? It may not be working. Does it feel good? It might be working, but who are you? There's so many of us that hit our 40s and 50s in this space, and we went, I don't know who I am anymore. And this container, this year container that I'm putting together for these women in business is because I want to bring 10 of these women, 20 if they have business partners, home to themselves. They're going to see fast transformation within 2 to 3 months. Their revenue will start to increase, not because I'm telling them to do anything other than align with themselves. I'm giving them the space to be seen, heard, and understood. And I create safety. And honestly, yeah, I'm going to confront them on a lot of stuff, but we're going to laugh about it too. Because it's a journey. I give a crap about these women. I want to celebrate their birthdays. I want to celebrate their anniversaries. I want to celebrate their kids. I want to celebrate their spouses or their partners or their husbands. I want to celebrate the people in their life that are supporting them. People used to tell me that was my downfall. That I cared too much for my clients. But I realized that that's me. The coaching programs I went through They weren't bad. They just weren't what I needed. I needed to come home. And as I've worked on this over the last year, accidentally, I created a sort of a mini pod of situations. I watched these women shine in their personal and professional lives. I watched them go from low 7 figures to mid 7 figures. I watched them to go from 6 figures to 7 figures. I watched them, honestly, one of my girls 10x themselves because they went from somebody who was salaried to owning the business and strategically planning everything out. We didn't talk about strategy. We didn't talk about ops or email rates or lead gen. I talked about them. Their stories that they were creating in their business and in their personal life. The things that were holding them back. Did we make plans for success? Yes, absolutely. We talk about that because what you say, you create. What you speak, you create. I learned that from my mentor, Abracadabra. What you speak, you create. It's all about energetics. If we are not energetically aligned, if we are constantly blocking ourselves at every freaking path, how the hell are we going to be successful? It's not outside of you. It is in here. 100% of your success is from within. And only a very small percentage of women in business actually have a 6-figure business. I think it's like 3% of the women in the United States. And I think that that's crap. The reason why I feel like there's more men, outside the fact that they've sort of had a jump start on us, but the reason why I think there's more men is because they have more certainty in themselves. They're not asking who they are. They're not asking for words. They're not asking for validation from the external. No. They're just going in and doing it. They're applying for the jobs that they're not even qualified to do. They're walking into meetings because they know that they are the most badass person in the room. And we have to do the same thing. We don't need to lower them. We need to rise up to where they are. You can still do this and maintain feminine energy. You can still do this and maintain your authenticity. You can still do this and actually become more like yourself than you ever have before. The container that I'm creating will advance you. The average growth that I got with my women last year was a 3x revenue increase. But it was far more than that. They remembered who they were. They released toxic relationships, some of them romantic. But more importantly, they had the clear path forward. When they verbally dump, it's like they can't even see it. That's why I say everybody needs a coach, because you can't see your own label from inside your own bottle. I have one. I will always have one. Not because I'm trying to find the next thing, but because when I'm in my own head and I'm in my own way, I need somebody to point it out, because you don't always realize it. You think we're all self-aware. Even the most self-aware people, like I'm very self-aware, but even the most self-aware people can't always see when they're being their worst enemy. This container is a $5K a month program. $60K, $50K if it's up front. Yes, just like the one that I was in before. But the one that I was in before, the $50K a year program, I got no one-to-one time with the host. We had 3 events in the year that we attended in a large group, about 200 people. One of them was even more. And I still had to pay for those events to attend. And the guy that ran it, he never knew even what I did. I want to be intimately involved in the growth and the birth and the rebirth of every single one of their businesses. I want to be intimately integrated into helping them see who they are, celebrating their little wins, their big wins, going to see them if they get speaking gigs, being in the front row of every freaking thing. Because to me, that's what makes change. It's not about getting my validation. It's not about getting my approval. It's about knowing that as you go through this transformation back to yourself, because it's not easy, you got somebody in your corner along with 9 other women that is there in the front row cheering you on. That is there to show you who you are, to reflect back as a mirror to you who you are, who you really are. And to honor you in that power, because not everybody's going to come with you when you come back to yourself. That's what this is for. Coaching programs that promise the result based off of mechanism is not where you need to be. You need to be where you can come home to remember who you are. That's all that I have this week. I love all of you for listening to this. I know we're still a brand new podcast, but it has meant the world to me to come in here and be able to make my voice heard as I continue to come back home. If you are interested in that container, that year-long container, please message me. Please comment below on this. Like I said, we're only taking 10 businesses. There's no doubt in my mind that this will not sell out. And it's going to be a beautiful experience for the people who dive in and really want to grow. They will have my heart. They will have my attention. They will have my full dedication. And it's going to be magical. So, and as we do that, I will gladly keep you guys updated on what's happening inside and how we grow. Talk to you soon.